live now.
Hi everyone, welcome to our another Facebook live session. I've got my colleague Has here, who will be asking me questions that were raised through emails by our clients. And in this session, we'll just try to answer the questions that have been raised. Has is sitting, while maintaining social distancing, he's sitting 2 meters beside me, so he won't be able to see him, but he'll be raising me questions from the side. So Has, why don't you start with some questions?
Okay, so questions we have had over the last week or so, or a couple of weeks, I'm going to run through them and Mahin, you can answer them. So we have a few people watching, so we'll get started. So some of the most frequent questions over the last week, what support is available to us?
So government has announced various forms of support for various group of people. We have a job retention scheme, we have self-employed scheme, there are grants, there are loans available, and I found out that even the grants which were available to certain trade sectors, certain councils are sending emails to their residents and small businesses, and they are supporting businesses even they do not qualify for the standard government scheme. So yeah, there are quite a range of support that is available for businesses.
Okay, so obviously we won't have time to cover everything today, but what we will do is we'll cover what we can, and then we can carry on next week. So from the job retention scheme, I have a question, which is how long can I be furloughed for?
Initially it's announced for 3 months, so you can furlough an employee for 3 months. Now how long will it last? No one knows, and we all pray and hope things get better and get back to a normal life as soon as possible. But for now, it's being furloughed for 3 months.
Okay. Can I add an employee to my February payroll now?
Okay, so the way the furlough works is you have to be an employee of the company on 28th of February. So this is a very common question that's been asked over the last couple of weeks, that I wanted to add another employee to my February payroll. While yes, you can do it if you had an employee. If you just want to add an employee to get payment for furlough from the government, I don't think so it's going to work. HMRC already have the data that who were the employees, and we've already submitted payroll RTI returns. The payroll RTI returns are submitted every month. At the end of the month, when you pay the employee, we submit the data to HMRC telling them who was the employee, how much was the salary, and how much tax and national insurance was deducted from it. So going back and changing it, they will find out that it was not the case at that point. In certain cases, we found out that the employer has already had an employee and they forgot to put that employee on the payroll, maybe due to miscommunication between an employer or us as an accountant. They misinformed us, so we didn't inform it on time, and we added them in March. If that was genuine employment started in February, we can go back and make a change. If they will qualify, or if they will get the job retention scheme payment, we don't know yet how HMRC will tackle that. But just for the sake of job retention, no, you can't, and we won't be able to help you out with that. We're very clear on it, on that side. Yeah.
I'm just reading the comments. Someone has put turn the phone because the video comes in a weird way.
Okay.
So maybe let's just try and turn it. Okay, so we'll carry on. So I'm a contractor and still working. Can I furlough my employee that helps me with admin work?
Well, if the way the job retention scheme works is you have been affected by the coronavirus. Now, if your work is working all fine, if you work as a contractor and you working at the way you were working, just working from home, then no, I don't think so that you should be able to, while you can, no, I don't think so that should be you should apply for it or you should qualify for it, because effectively nothing has changed for you. And sometimes in owner managed companies you employ your family members who can help you with admin work. So just by furloughing them and getting money from the government, that is not what the intentions are, and that's something you can't do. If everything is remain as they are, you can't claim it. You have to have an impact because of the coronavirus. Your income has to go down. You should stop working, and that's when it applies. Or you have to let go an employee who was doing some work and I can't do it anymore because of the work that's happening. Yes.
Can I furlough myself from March, but my work stopped at the end of March or maybe the start of April? But can I furlough myself from the beginning, the 1st of March?
The way the scheme was designed is supposed to work is it needs to be, you have to be impacted by the coronavirus, and your work should stop or you're unable to work because of that. So if your work stopped in April, you won't be able to go back and claim it from 1st of March. You can claim it from the time you stopped working. One of the conditions of the job retention scheme or being to furlough an employee is they have to completely stop working for you. So they can't do any work which is a revenue generated work. So if you or your employee were doing any such work, then no, you cannot claim it. You have to completely stop. So if you stopped working from 25th of March, then you can only claim from 25th of March or 1st of April when it actually had an impact on you.
I am a director of my own limited company. Can I furlough myself?
Yes, you can furlough yourself. You have to completely stop working. So if you're working less hours, less days, or maybe you're working on 5 projects and now you're only working on 1 project, then you can't claim, you can't make yourself furlough. Being a director of the company, there are some statutory duties or responsibilities that you carry, which you have to fulfill. Initially, we didn't have a clear guidance on it, but now we have a guidance that directors who have the responsibility of those who have those statutory responsibilities can still do those statutory work while being classed as furlough. Work will mean that you cannot furlough yourself. But yes, if you're a director of your limited company on a PAYE, on a payroll, then you can do it as long as you completely stop working.
Can a dividend be treated as a salary?
Yes, so I've been asked this question a lot. Some owner-managed companies, owner-managed businesses, directors of their own limited company, one-man bands, consultants who work on projects, they pay themselves a salary, and some pay themselves monthly dividends, some pay themselves quarterly dividends or annual dividends. And we've been asked this question that I used to take £1,000 salary or £800 salary and a £3,000 dividends every month. Can I treat my dividend payment as part of my salary? No. Because we have to submit a payroll to HMRC every month, which we have been doing based on the salary amount that we have finalized and discussed with you. We then submit the payroll to HMRC and calculate tax and national insurance on it. So if you would wanted to have a salary of £4,000, you should have paid PAYE over the last year or years that you've been working on £4,000, which has not been the case. Majority, if not all of the small businesses or owner-managed businesses, they take a smaller salary and a higher payout in dividends as a tax strategy to save tax, which is common and totally fine with it. But in this case, no, it doesn't help. You can only claim the salary part which was submitted in the payroll return because that's the salary part that you've been declared as PAYE.
So when will I get paid, and how would the payment be paid? Would it go direct to the employer or the employee, and when would it happen from the government?
Yeah, so the government hasn't launched the scheme, the portal yet. I mean, the scheme is already here, so we don't know the exact time of the payment. We have received emails from the government where they have explained, a lot of clients have received emails too, explaining what information they would require in order to complete the online portal. But that portal isn't live yet, and we do not know when it will go live. What we do know is ideally, it's expected to go by end of April. So my understanding is there'll be an online portal where you'll go log in and complete the application with the information that is required, and you submit the application, and then HMRC will be able to pay the money. I think the other question you asked is who will get the pay?
Yeah.
Okay. So the payment will go from the government to the employer. Employer then will make the payment to the employee. So that's how it will work. Again, we will let you know when we know more about it. But we're expecting it to be end of April.
So can someone who's self-employed claim job retention?
If you are self-employed, sole trader or freelancer, then no, you cannot claim it. For you, HMRC have got a different scheme and you will qualify for that scheme, so you cannot claim the job retention scheme. Same as the directors and owners of a limited company will not be able to claim the self-employed scheme announced by the government.
Okay, so that is the questions that we have had for the job retention, but I have had one more comment. So on the job retention scheme, can you claim if your company is in the process of MVP?
MVP? MVL?
Yeah, I think it's just written it wrong, but MVL.
MVL. So if your company is in process of liquidation, then you're closing down the company. Depending on what stage there is, I do not think that you will qualify for it. Again, the basics are that you have to be impacted by the COVID-19. So what was the impact? Businesses were shut, jobs were lost. There is not much work. There's not much work going on apart from the essential work for the essential workers. So if you are not impacted by the COVID-19, if you were closing down the company anyway, and you were doing something else, you planned to do something else, then no, you didn't had any impact because of that, and you will not be able to qualify for any of that.
And what is the process?
Yeah, so what is the process and how Adroit can help you? First of all, we've got a special dedicated email account, COVID-19@adroitaccounting.com, where we're asking our clients to email us all the questions. Obviously, that help us to make videos like this. We also have a dedicated person, the payroll. We've emailed all our clients, and we will keep sending reminders to our clients so we can get applications or confirmations from the clients who would like to furlough themselves. We're keeping a track of that. From payroll perspective, so the whole process is divided into two parts, the payroll and the online application. Payroll is submitted as part of our normal service to our clients. So we are submitting the payroll and as usual, based on the salary they want us to run. For example, if a client says, I would like to keep my salary as it is, or I want to keep my employees the same salary what they were getting paid before, then we will keep the salary as it is. If they'll say we would like the salary to be 80% of what they were getting, then we will calculate that and run the payroll based on 80%. That's one side of the work. Again, we have a dedicated person who's doing all of this for you guys. The second step, or the second part of the process, is that you have to go to HMRC online portal and make an application for that. That application hasn't been live yet. So what we'll do is we are sending the emails to the clients, getting the confirmations from them they want to be furloughed, and calculating and asking them confirm the salary they want us to follow, 80% or 100%. And we'll keep running it. When the system goes live, we will then send another reminder to our clients and tell them this system is live. And at that point, you can all make a decision of asking us to do it, or you can do it yourself. And we will go online on HMRC portal and make an application and get the funds for you. So that will be the process.
Okay. So if we move on to VAT now.
Mm-hmm.
So with VAT payments, how does the deferral process work?
Okay, so the way the deferral process works is you have to file VAT as normal. You don't have to make an application. It's very simple and straightforward. Any VAT payment which is becoming due between 20th of March to 30th of June, you can defer the payment till March 2021. No application, no process. You do still need to file the VAT return as normal. So that responsibility stays as it is. Any payment which is falling beyond 30th of June as per to date, that will be due as normal. Now the period is kind of unique because we pay a month and 7 to 10 days late. For example, if your VAT quarter end is February, then the payment is made on 7th of April or 10th of April if you are on a direct debit. So HMS has talked about the payment period. So payment falling between 20th of March, 30th of June. So that covers the February quarter. May quarter will have the payment day on 7th or 10th of July. That will be due as normal as far as we know to date. Again, no process, no application that is required. Yes?
So just to double check, it happens automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything the clients have to do?
No, they don't have to do anything. No, they don't have. It's an automatic process. Now, what we are doing, that when we do, we're sending reminders as normal. We're chasing clients, sending them text message reminders. And we're doing the VAT calculations as normal. We're trying to file and submit the VATs as normal. But at the time of doing the VAT returns, we are telling them about this deferral option. And if they want to defer the payment, they have to cancel their direct debit. So when we do the VAT returns, we check if a client has a direct debit or not. And in our VAT reminder emails, we tell them your VAT payment is due on for the February quarter is due on 7th of July or 7th of April or 10th of April if it's on direct debit. And we're putting a note on there saying if you want to defer the payment, then you need to cancel the direct debit. We still want to file the VAT return on time, and we will do our work as normal, and then you will have the option to file it late at a later date. So that's what needs to happen.
Okay. So moving on to Companies House and filing of limited company accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Does the same as the VAT scheme apply for corporation tax?
No. The government has announced deferral scheme for VAT For corporation tax, there is no deferral scheme, but you can have time to pay arrangement with HMRC. So you'll have to call HMRC and tell them, and obviously they will understand because of the circumstances that we're all in. Then you can ask them to defer or agree an installment. That option was always available to even before the COVID-19. You can give HMRC a call to defer your tax payments or arrange a payment term with them because of any financial difficulties you might be facing at that point. So there is no scheme from the government, but you do have the option. We have shared the number before. We'll share the number again in the comment section. So if you want to apply for that, just call HMRC and they'll be able to help you defer the payment.
Can I delay the filing of my company's accounts?
Yes. Because of what's happened and some people might be facing difficulties in getting all the documents ready to prepare to file the accounts. So for that reason, Company House has offered to extend the deadline by 3 months, but you have to make an application before the deadline. If you miss the deadline, they will still charge you an automatic penalty for not filing the return on time. Company House deadline is 9 months from the company year end. And it's very important to note because a lot of people might not know this, HMRC has a different deadline. So you have 9 months for Company House to file accounts at Company House, and corporation tax is payable 9 months as well, 9 months after the company year end. Whereas filing at HMRC deadline is 12 months. Generally, we file it at the same time because once you've paid the accounts, you've done everything, there's no point filing HMRC 3 months late. So we, in our company, we file and prepare the accounts at the same time and submit them to HMRC when we submit the Company House. But with the Company House, there's no deferral with the HMRC filing. Company House filing has been deferred for 3 months. You have to make an application for that. Corporation tax still due 9 months after the company year end, but you can call them to arrange for more installment options for payment of corporation tax. Yes, so that's what's happening. We at Edward, we are still trying to make sure that we complete all the accounts on time within the deadline, and we do not want to use this scheme of deferral because accounts are due, the tax is due, so we need to submit that as it becomes. So we will do our efforts, our best to make sure that we do this, and this will only be applicable to for those clients where they're unable to give us information on time. Yeah.
So is there any tax relief available or any reduction in tax rate due to the COVID-19 for limited companies?
Not really. No. The corporation tax rate remains the same. I was asked this question over and over again the last few weeks. There must be something regarding corporation tax reduction. The corporation tax rate remains what it is, and there's no reduction for that. There is no scheme of having any special kind of tax relief because I was speaking to a client who said, somebody told him that the HMRC is going to announce or has announced that there's a scheme where you can claim an extra 20,000, you can reduce your profit by £20,000 because no, there's nothing like that. The expenses, the profits, the way the accounting is done remain exactly the same, and there's no change in that at all. Anything else? Are we doing with questions, Has?
So I've just got one last question because conscious of time and we've covered quite a lot as well. So what if I've issued a P45 to my employee before the government made the announcement for COVID-19?
Okay, so we're going back to the job retention scheme question. So if you've already issued a P45, and it happened in a lot of cases where the employer issued P45 because it was forced to shut down the business. This could happen because, even before the government announced the lockdown, you might have a COVID-19 case in your restaurant or a pub or a workplace. So you have to shut down that workplace because of that before the lockdown. Or some employers, had an idea that this is going to happen, so they let the employees go before the government announced any kind of scheme, and you've issued a P45. You can then re-employ the person and furlough them. That's what the government wants. Government do not want to have a lot of unemployment. So that's why they're saying, get the people back on the payroll and we will support you 80%. I do want to add, and I briefly mentioned earlier too, that you can still pay your staff 100%. So if you're furloughing an employee and you get 80% support from the government, some employers are still making 100% payment to the employee and they're contributing 20%. You can still do that, and you can still re-employ them, and it'll be continued as they never stop working for you. That's it.
That is it for the questions. So if anybody has any questions other than what we've covered, please comment. I will just want to also point out for the video as well that we do have, we work with a lot of partners. So any help that any businesses need, financial help with mortgages, any debt, business funding, anything like that, we can assist in that process as well. So I will put our email address again in the comments box. So if anyone's got any further questions or they need help, drop us an email, and we will do what we can to help. There hasn't been any further questions, so I guess we can kind of just wrap it up there.
Yeah, brilliant, Has. Again, we'll be doing a lot more videos. We're trying to come up with more topics, as things progress. We have more information that we will bring those knowledge and the information out to our clients. We get a lot of emails on COVID-19, and that is why we have a dedicated email account. We will push that email account to all of you guys so that we have one place where all the questions are answered, all the questions come and are answered in a most efficient manner. As has said, that we have a lot of partners, and we want to be your go-to team or go-to partner, where you come to us with your problem and we kind of solve it for you. And that for that reason, we are working more and more with other companies which can support our clients. Again, funding is one of the most important parts. So we will have a few top funding platforms that we will work with, and we will launch it with all our clients, and we will work through you guys to make sure you get the maximum support possible during this tough time as possible.
So before we do wrap up, we've just had one more question come through.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, Mohin, what about the VAT payments? Has HMRC issued anything regarding the VAT payments for the next quarters in this uncertain situation?
Well, I think we've already answered this question when we were covering the VAT topic. The VAT period for deferral was 20th of March to 30th of June. So if a VAT payment is falling beyond that, right now, as it stands, there's nothing. If it comes out a month later, they defer this whole plan, we don't know. It is expected that if things remain the way they are in a lockdown situation, then the government will offer more. Again, we don't know exactly what and to what extent they will go and how long they'll keep on carrying on this, because what they're doing right now is unprecedented. It's massive support from the government to help people, and we rightly acknowledge that and appreciate the steps the government is taking to support businesses, employees for that. Okay guys, thank you very much. I hope you like the video and it has helped you. I wish you all be very safe, stay at home, keep social distancing. At Edward, everybody's working from home. Everybody has laptops and mobiles, so you can contact them directly on the mobile as well. And keep sending us questions if you have any. We'll make sure we try our best to answer them as soon as possible and provide you the maximum support we can as a company. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you everyone for watching.